I know I gave like half the people watching this video a literal panic attack from the title alone. It's genuinely hard for me to believe that there was a time in metal not too long ago that deathcore's validity just as a metal genre was called into question. I'm of course talking about like the late 2000s going into the early 2010s. There was this like mini movement of gatekeepers and purists and elitists that literally would just hate on deathcore, but not just in the way of like, I don't like this. And not just in the way of like standing in the corner like some angry dude at a show waiting for the one fucking band that he came to see. Like, I'm literally talking about the ones that like stand in a corner and are like, for like 40 minutes straight, they're just like, sometimes they do like this motion, they'll just like sit and pace back and forth. They never bang their head, like they never do anything like that. They're just like, same stoic expression, and like if you ever ask them like how they're doing, they're just like, it's fine. I think I just inadvertently described like every person that goes to a Tool concert when like the openers are there. And you know what's funny is like I can usually understand an argument even if I don't agree with it. Like if it's debative, I can look at something and be like, oh, I can extrapolate what you are meaning but from this, like what you're fighting for, and I can respect what you are standing for even if I disagree. But not only is this like not a subjective argument, this is objectively just a false statement from the get-go, and it always was. It had no sort of validity in how they approached their argument, and it got so bad that I remember back in the day there were like videos from like Count Blagrath and like I think Black Metal Werewolf that were talking about this topic because this was a big fucking deal. There were a lot of elitists that were kind of on the side of thinking deathcore wasn't metal without any sort of like valid claims or valid reasons. They just didn't think it was metal because they didn't think core in general was metal. And metalcore got its shit. Don't be like surprised to know that. I can promise you that core in general, like unless it was grindcore, if you put core at the end of something, it was automatically like just dust the hands off. Like it was disqualified from any competition. It did not exist as a genre. It deserved no sort of respect, and in fact it was so estranged from the metal scene in these people's eyes that it did not classify as metal at all. And these are the same people that would have looked at like glam metal, which was literally all about aesthetic, or porno grind, which is all about the lyrics, or gore grind, which is all about a specific pitch shifted style, or pirate metal, a genre that is only based around pirate sea shanties, or funeral doom metal that was only based around dirges and making doom metal slower, and say these are all metal genres. But God forbid genres like metalcore and specifically deathcore that not only had their roots in two specific subgenres of metal but put them together in an interesting mixture and had a very distinct style that you could pinpoint and say this is where the influences come from, this is what the bands are trying to do. And even though it was versatile and diverse and many different bands took it in diverging paths, it always led back to the same distinction of metal and had all of the traits and qualities that are naturally associated with every metal genre. I fucking mic drop it, they're metal. And I don't know when that sort of went away to the wayside, because I think over time deathcore got more and more respect, and I think I kind of noticed that as deathcore separated itself more from just the metalcore formula, it started to become and pick up more steam as a genre of its own. Because I think back when deathcore was in like the early Whitechapel era, the early Thy Art Is Murder and Job for a Cowboy, Suicide Silence, Bring Me the Horizon, like those bands, I think it was easy to claim that they were just as bad as like the metalcore scene kids specifically around that time, considering that these bands oftentimes would adopt the same aesthetics and looks and sounds as metalcore bands. But in the 2010s, when you started to see it taken in different directions, progressively, technically, defining the style in its own lane and having its own form, I think that's when a lot of people started respecting it more. And I also think it's a little bit because of the changing vibe of elitism and gatekeeping and how that has dissipated a little bit. And obviously those things still have their place, and I did a whole video on like why that is a valid thing and you shouldn't just write it off because these people care about the music that they listen to. But I think that's a big reason also that deathcore sort of started to get more love and respect, or at least people like stepping aside and saying, you know, even though I don't like that music, it's not my shit, it's not my cup of tea, I can still respect it, I can still listen to it and be like, you know, okay, you know, that's for some people, it ain't for me, but I can respect it on your behalf, unless it's like actively harming people, obviously. But what are your guys' opinions of this topic and deathcore as a whole? You can let me know down in the comment section below. I can't wait to hear it. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, and I'm signing off saying farewell.